Alright, today we're going to be talking about a table saw and running some moldings. And a lot of times you can't find this small stuff anymore, but it's real easy to make. And but before we start on that, we're going to do a little table saw safety. I know I'm a little radical when it comes to using table saws and stuff, but in any case, this is what we're going to be doing here in a few minutes. As you can see here, we're 0 with the inset of the table. And you can see back here we're probably in maybe an 8 3/16 at the very back. Now we're off, but now let me move it in to the edge of the blade. First I have to raise the blade all the way up. Make sure the front of your blade is touching. Now you just kind of spin it with the belt off until it just barely. There we go. Okay, now we've got the front of the blade touching. And then what you want on the back, blade anywhere from a 64th to a 32nd. This one's probably about, I'm going to say this one's probably about a, I think about 32nd. Okay, and then you want to get a business card and you just want to go down there. Now you want to go at the very bottom of your guide. Don't go at the top. Always stay at the bottom. And if it's not touching at the bottom, then you need to check your blade. You can still check it because the front of your blade's going to be touching the bottom. The back, you want to be able to slide this card in and out without the blade moving. You just want just that much clearance. Thickness of a business card, dollar bill, whatever. That keeps anything from binding up in there. So don't ever trust your guide to be straight with the blade. Okay, with a table saw, you can do all these little small moldings. You've got a blade that's an inch wide, so whatever you got, if you've got something like this is about 1 3/4 inches. So what we would do, we would come in and do the first part, and then we would come in, of course we would do this side first, then we would come in and get the rounded part, because everything's going to be done like this. So if we did this first, then we couldn't get to that unless we did it like this, but that's a different angle. Now you can do them either way. I just think it's a lot safer running down. That way you don't have that knife coming out chasing you. Anyway, the way we do this, well, I'm sure you've seen these at, I guess you could say, Sears. These are molding cutters that you can get over there with their table saw. These are accessories. They don't come with a table saw. What you buy this molding head, and then you buy these packages. They come 3 into a package, and I always just buy these blank ones. This way I can grind my own, and that way I've got 3 different moldings that I could make. And as they're coming around, or coming up from the bottom of the table, this is what I was saying earlier, they're coming up from the bottom of the table. So as you're molding down there, you're nowhere near that blade than if it was on the side and you were doing it like this. Now that blade's out, right out at you. So I don't think that's the safe way to do it. But what we do is we come in, we get this cut first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the design on here for this one, and then we'll get another blade, and then we will do there across. Now we have to make sure this one is done right first time, because boy howdy, it'd be hard to get it on a second trip. But after a few times, you know, like I say, you always make 2 or 3 extra, so that in case one is screwing up, you could always got the other 2 to fall back on. Anyway, like I said, we're going to set this up and grind it, but first I want to show you all these other cutters I've got. Okay, you can see all these cutters. These are all just one ground cutter. You can see like that one right there is a pretty radical cut. So, you know, like that way, you know, we'd make probably two passes. Depending on the lumber. If it's oak, I'd probably make 3 passes. Well, we come on down, there's another radical cut. See, there's one that's even a whole lot deeper. So there's the same thing. We may end up doing 3 passes on that. So there's all kinds. This one right there is for a panel, a raised panel for cabinet door. I just needed one, and the cutter wasn't available, so I just made that one. So we were able to get through that. But you can see a lot of these, you know, there's just a lot of them that you may use one time. Well, why worry about having somebody ground you a $100 knife when you can do your own in just a few minutes? Okay, now what we want to do is set the flat part of this cutter on this edge right here. So we bring that over and we set it right on the edge. Make sure you've got your full contour on the cutter, because we're not even going to grind this area. All we're going to do is just grind this right here. Okay, and then once you get that set and you get it like you want it, then come in here and just run your little pencil mark around it, and then you can come in and kind of straighten it up a little bit. Now your dremel tool will take care of making this into a perfect cut. So what we're going to do, see, like I said, we're not doing anything on the edge, just on that end. Okay, well, let's go over here and work on this one real quick. This one won't take long. Okay, I'm going to show you this now as we're grinding this thing. As we're grinding this thing, we're grinding it at the same angle as the factory edge. Now, I don't know what the angle is. We'll find out here in a few minutes. But anyway, as you're grinding this thing, you want to make sure you grind it at that angle. All right, we're going to continue on. See, we got pretty much the rough stuff out of the way. Now what we'll do is we'll start using that Dremel tool to get us a good round cut. You got to get all the big meat out of the way first. And one thing I found, these little vice grips, they have these little things on the back that fit inside that trail, whatever you want to call that groove. Fits in that groove perfect, so this knife doesn't twist around on you like flat ones do. These things are great for that. So if you're going to be doing this, you might pick you up a pair. They're just about hand size, or great for moving around, for doing just this, and that's about it. Okay, see, this one's real close to the round part, so we'll take this Dremel tool and we'll start cleaning this thing up. Now we're still going to have to do a little more rough cutting, but for the most part, you know, we're starting to get close. We don't want to go too fast rough cutting, because then we have to make another bit. But in any case, all right, let me set this up in my vise.